Kevin Durant came out and said a lot of the criticism that he felt that he received in Golden State and all the praise that Curry received in Golden State was basically at his expense. And he basically, from his quote, you get the feeling that he just didn't think that it was fair that, Curry kept getting his ass kissed, so to speak, and KD every day in the media was basically getting his ass handed to him. Now, one thing that I like about KD, he's the first superstar that could do a lot of shit off the court. No, he's not the first. I would say Michael Jordan is the first. Michael Jordan is the first guy who can play the game. He could be smoking cigars, partying, hit the casino, dice game, betting on golf, and still could drop 40, 50. KD's like the second guy I see that could consistently do that. Nothing off the court is going to really impact his game. But this is what I don't like about KD. He's too raw with emotion, and it almost sounds like he's jealous of the guy, of Steph Curry in this regard. A lot of this was at his expense. Guess what was at Curry's expense? His legacy to be the greatest point guard of all time. Him inviting KD to the Warriors basically took a lot of all those extra championships that he won, the 2 extra championships. People put that into question because they're like, well, he had KD. In the first championship, people were saying that, well, it wasn't legitimate because LeBron, Kyrie, and Love went down. So, and on top of that, you take the fact of this. Curry has no finals MVPs, and that's why a lot of people will say, like, he's not one of the greatest point guards of all time. When in fact, he is one of the greatest point guards of all time. Steph Curry is the only NBA player to average, like, 25 points, I believe it's 6 assists, and 4 rebounds in the NBA Finals for his entire career. You heard me straight. 25 points, like 25, 26 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds, and never won a NBA Finals MVP. He's the only player in NBA history for that to ever happen to. So when KD's talking about what he gave up and what's at his expense, this guy humbly brought you over. And he tried to recruit you. If the shoe was on the other foot, there's no way in hell Kevin Durant would say, yeah, let's go meet Steph Curry. Let's try to get him to the Thunder. There's no way in hell he would have ever done that. No way in hell he would have ever done that. Steph Curry, one of the most unselfish guys, never knocked KD, never questioned the man's injury. The guy held up his end of the deal. There's been multiple NBA series where KD got hurt. 2017, against the Blazers. Last year, when KD went down against the Rockets, not only did he bring home Game 5, him and Clay brought home Game 5. Curry went into Houston's building, 0 points in the first half, drops 31 to save the Warriors' legacy and make it to the finals, wins Game 6. You have nothing to say about anything at anybody's expense, bro. Nothing at anybody's expense. If anything, it's at your own expense because you had to weigh the opportunity cost to say, hey, if I go here, it's going to be a problem because people are going to say it's not legitimate. We're a juggernaut. That's your problem to deal with, not Steph's, and don't bring Steph up at all. He's the golden child, this, that, and the third. All the man does is praise you. All he does is praise you. And if you want to really get technical with it, get technical with it. Because I think KD would eventually want a ring. But to win 2 rings back-to-back, win finals MVPs, to be on one of the most dominant teams to ever play, if not the most dominant, because you got to remember, they went like 16-1. They set a playoffs record or whatever. And then, 73-9, we ain't going to talk about that. But Curry basically grew there. KD, you flew there. And there's nothing wrong with you flying there, joining the team, but you can't say that it was at your expense, bro. Like, this guy did everything in his power to make sure you were comfortable and at home. Man went to recruit you. He's a franchise player. He's recruiting you. He's recruiting you. Then you want to talk about opportunity costs and at your expense. How about this? How about when KD, a couple summers ago, bashed Under Armour shoes and all that. And Steph Curry was essentially and is still essentially the face of Under Armour shoes. What about that? What about that? His expense right there. So, to me, if anything, this just shows a lack of maturity on Kevin Durant's part because every chance the media tried to divide him, Curry, and Steph, and I'm saying Curry and KD, Curry always took the high road. He always kept everything together. He never once criticized KD. Never. Even when he left the way he left, he never said anything bad about the man. Just let that stuff die, man. Leave it all alone. Like, you're in the Brooklyn Nets now. Don't talk about the Warriors anymore. I understand, like, that's where you built your history and your legacy. I mean, you had a legacy before, but championship legacy. Because you reaped the rewards. You got 2 Finals MVPs, 2 titles. You have some of the highest player efficiency ratings in Finals history. And you still want to talk about old shit back in the day. It makes no sense. No sense at all. And you're looking at a guy that basically doesn't have a Finals MVP, could have took a hit on his shoe deal. A guy that invited somebody that could take the ball out of his hands and stuff like that. And you talking about it was at your expense, man. The media is the least of your problems. I think at the end of all this, KD really has an issue where it's essentially it's a mental issue. It's a mental issue. Besides Draymond Green, none of the guys ever came at you crazy. Never. Never said nothing to you. Never disrespected you. Utmost respect, utmost love. And you still kind of throwing shots over the bay. Makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Maybe it's been taken out of context. But KD just needs to have love for the entire organization because it was all sacrifice to keep that glue together as long as they did. And when they had chances to lose, this man Curry, he played his best games. Game 7 in Houston, played one of his best games. Game 6, Houston, played one of his best games. Swept the Denver Nuggets without you there. Had your back, 100%. Don't talk about that man. Don't talk about that man. Hoops Junction, Hoops Meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.